Black Order, Ironheart, Bugs, they're all around, guys. The X-Force is confirmed. More rumors, all of that and more coming up on your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. And if you're ready for it, Khasino, tell them what to do, brother.
Let's go squash it.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome. It is time for your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. As usual, I am joined by my partner in crime, Khasino. What is up, brother? How are you doing?
Doing good. What's going on?
Ooh, a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of bugs around. It's like I'm looking all over the place. I see bugs. And I guess we're going to talk about that. We've got more rumors. But before we get into all of that, brother, you did a pretty good accomplishment. We didn't talk about it because there was a lot going on last week. But let's talk about it now. You got through Dark Dimension 3. Do you have any tips for people that are still trying to get through it? Anything that you learned in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Dark Dimension 3 is a very long mode. It takes a long time to get in. And it takes a long time to get through, and it's really good about stalling you. So it wasn't necessarily tips in particular, because it's kind of it has a lot to do with which characters you bring in, and which characters you bring in has a lot to do with just what materials you're able to get in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, you have limited options. There are definitely some all-star characters, but so I got an interesting bit of validation on my second run through.
Okay.
So if you remember, originally I told you the strategy I was going for was I wanted to basically protect the Sinister and build a clone army. That was the plan. And to be fair, like, this isn't like a see, I was right the whole time. I wasn't, but I'm happy to prove I'm not crazy. And what I mean by that is the strategy of protect the Sinister is a good strat. So This time around, I have Minerva at 6 red star. My Shuri is up to 7 red star, but that's really not making a difference. And I got Ebony Maw to tier 14 immediately. He is a huge game changer in DD3. Anyway, the point is, the second run is going much smoother.
Nice.
And I'm not crazy. You can run a Protect the Sinister comp. Again, you probably couldn't have before Maw, but the concept of if I can stack enough characters on my side of the team, I can outplay the AI has been working for the second run. So it's nice. Yeah, I'm almost like half done with the time run already. It's great.
Well, it's always good when you get validation that you're not insane. So that is always a good thing, my friend. Okay, so big thing last week was Ebony Maw coming to the game. Right out of the gate, had some issues. These are the main issues that they recognized in this blog post right here. Not showing all of the healing, and I guess they said that is more of a visual bug. The force transfusion, and it's stopping the healing, the ultimate stopping the heal every time someone dies. So that is something that just recently got fixed, which we'll get to. And the Envoy of Thanos gaining the resistance, not 30%, 10%. We talked about this, and that has been corrected in the game since. What are your thoughts of this? Do you think these are all the issues, or were there other ones that we discussed that they forgot to address here?
I don't remember. I don't think Ebony Maw has any other issues.
I know there was something else going on with the ultimate on the healing. The percentages were kind of weird and inconsistent, but they haven't said that was a bug, so maybe that's kind of working as intended.
Yep. Yeah, people are definitely getting healed for different amounts, and I'm not sure how they decide who's getting which heal. You'd think it would be like an even redistribution, but yeah, it's a little unclear. But I mean, it's very strong, right? So it may not be working exactly as intended, but it's not like one character is not receiving healing or something. Again, I've been using it to absolutely crush in DD3. I've been using Ebony Maw a little bit in PvP. He's just an all-star, man. He's a ridiculously good character. So I think he's easily a top 3 character in the game right now.
I gotta build mine up. I don't have my gear 14 to get all that extra focus, but can't wait. I've heard nothing but good things. Except for these bugs, I've heard nothing good things about Ebony Maw. All right, well, moving on. Big blitz and more big blitz scores. Cull, Obsidian. Our boy Steel Hulk, 100 million. He said he was gonna do it, and he passed that 100 million mark. My goodness. Top 2,000, 19 million, which kind of surprising. Are you surprised that there's that big of a fall off in the top 2,000?
Yes, there's a few theories as to why. Some of them more interesting than others. But so there was some server downtime, not a crazy amount, but I think the server was down for a couple hours. And so
did you say that all the Blitz bots was crashed the server as soon as the Cull Obsidian Blitz went live?
No, quite the contrary. What I was saying was an unintended consequence of the server going down is people who left their Blitz bot going throughout the night would wake up and be like, oh, what the hell?
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Exactly.
Ha.
So now I'm very it doesn't even mathematically make sense to be like, oh, the Blitz bots were down for like 6 to 8 hours tops, and look how much the points fell. Like I don't think it's that at all. That would be like a whole day of the Blitz bots out of action. And again, I think that they're a very small percentage of the actual top 2,000 as it is. So no, I'm just pretty surprised in general that people did not seem that big on Cull. Once people started seeing the Black Order in action, I don't know. People just were not as excited.
It was the bugs. It was the bugs.
I mean, they're the best team in the game. Synergy team, they're the best team in the game.
All right, brother. The rumors are true. Domino is coming to the game. We take a look at her kit. What are your thoughts on this kit? We had some little blurbs and some in-game mail, but now we got the full thing. Get no numbers, no base stats. What do you think of it so far, though, with what we know?
I mean, just, all I can ever really say, and you've done enough of these shows that, all
I gotta keep asking you, though, in case something changes. I gotta ask it every single time.
Oh, it won't, but feel free. Everyone else does. And I'm glad you asked me this way, because one of the most common, ways that I get asked is like, so now that we've seen Domino's kit, God tier, right? You thinking Domino Black Bolt new arena meta? And it's like, dude, we don't know how fast she is, how hard she is, how much health she has. Like, there's so many missing numbers here.
Very lucky character. Luck off the charts. Has to be God tier.
Right? I might just start saying like, yep, God tier confirmed.
God tier. New characters, all of them God tier.
How fast is she? Is she the slowest character in the game? We don't know. God tier. Go all in. Buy all our offers. I don't know. Leave me alone. But no. So it looks promising. There's a lot of really strong stuff in here. So I'm interested to see. But yeah, I mean, crit chance on the attack, gaining an assist, always reviving, giving out evades. One of the big ones is going to be how often does she give out those evades? Because evades are pretty damn strong.
Yeah, it's this chance here. It could be 50, could be 70, could be 10.
Right.
Very, very big difference in this passive, depending what that number is.
Same with gain dodge chance, like 15% dodge chance, 50% dodge, like, right? So there's a lot to see here, and then the war offense perks. The war offense perks terrify me, because if you look at the two things, you can keep scrolling down. If you look at the right there, on war offense, on spawn, reduce speed bar for all enemies and apply offense up to all X-Force allies. So on spawn, reduce speed bar for all enemies. How much?
8%. It's 8% speed gone, and
okay,
you're screwed, guys, because of that.
8%. I'm worried that they're gonna do another Namor, and they're just gonna be like, reduce enemy speed bar by 75%. You're like, are you kidding me?
And then useless outside of that game mode.
Right.
All right, one more little thing right here that was mentioned. X-Force can slay the gods of Alliance War. Was brought up on the mailbag. Someone was asking, do you think this means that they are an Asgardian counter? What are your thoughts on this?
It's very possible, but these days there's a ton of good Asgardian counters. I know it's not what we're talking about, but I just want to go ahead and mention this because I don't think enough people are aware yet. I've combined my Kree Ultimus counter with the symbiotes for a team that just always smashes the Asgardians. It's Korath, Ultimus, and the 3 symbiotes.
Okay.
You Korath special the Thor, you Ultimus ult the Thor, you Carnage ult the Thor. Thor definitely... Thor dead before he takes a turn, and then the symbiotes can just maul Greg and get infinite turns, and it's wonderful.
I like that. I like that. I like your theory crafting. Interesting.
I've been using it. It works fantastic. But yeah, maybe I mean, if these guys are supposed to be the new hotness for Alliance War offense, I hope that they can beat the Asgardian defense, because arguably the mercenaries or even Hydra can be a little bit rougher depending on the matchup.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think
the gods.
They call them the gods, but you know, I honestly, well, no, I guess if they. Well, no,
they could have said the top defense teams, the meta defense.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it,
they said gods though.
Now that I'm thinking about it, if they rewind enough turn meter, they can go before Loki, and then if they get an evade, then Loki might target someone and they won't get the defense down or the taunt or anything. Ooh. So maybe
just with Domino starting to open up possibilities for countering the Asgardians. Nice. All right, and I guess the jokes are over. We've been making jokes about Ghost Rider, Elsa not being farmable for so long. Elsa recently farmable, Ghost Rider farmable today as of us recording it on Cosmic 3-9. Finally, we can complete Supernatural. What are your thoughts on Ghost Rider finally becoming farmable and finally being able to farm the Supernatural team?
Sorry, my thoughts on who?
Ghost Rider.
I don't know.
Johnny, he's in the game now. He's farmable.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I know it took a while, so I know you forgot about him, but he is finally here, brother. He is finally here, and you can complete your team.
You know, I completely forgot about him.
I think the devs did also.
But no, I'm glad he's farmable. He's awesome. He actually, I was trying really, really hard to get him the gear tier 14 for my first run of DD3, and he didn't quite make it. But as soon as I finished, Ghost Rider gear tier 14, and man, it's been a pleasure using gear tier 14 Ghost Rider. He's mean, man. He's such a good character, and he's doing work, especially in PvP. Oh man, that special just takes people out.
I want to build them. I've been wanting to build them for so long, but Black Order, Ironheart, just different teams, Inhumans, they're taking my resources. But Ghost Rider, you're gonna get some love one day, man. Yeah, I like him. He's a good character and counters a lot. Yeah,
he's just mean. He's really, really fast. He hits really hard. He applies his own debuffs. The reason we can't quite give him God tier as a solo character is because his passive, as crazy as it is, his passive you can only take advantage of if your teammates are dying, and it doesn't work with summons or anything. So you need your actual allies to be dying to piss him off enough to have his passive pop off. So in a lot of game modes, you try to avoid having your allies die at all. On the Supernatural team, where you can just revive them, it's not a big deal. But on your average team, you don't really get to capitalize on his passive that much. But other than that, he's fantastic. And obviously, if you see an AI Ghost Rider, you have to kill him pretty immediately, or he will punish you heavily.
Oh yes, we've run across those in arena many times. They're not fun.
Well, so there's some ugly ones towards the very end of DD3, and there's other characters where you're like, oh, I have to stop this character immediately. I have to take him out, and Ghost Rider's like, it's you for them if you want to make that trade.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to those sitting notes towards the end. All right, so Marvel Strike Force Awards. I enjoyed this video. I guess it's not a strike time video, but a lot of awards. Most of them I would agree with the community. There's one that I want to talk about though, and I don't think you agree with it either. The most improved. Scientist Supreme, Groot, Shield Medic Thor. I mean, the community voted for Thor. Was the community correct in this one?
No, but so the thing is, it's a popularity contest. Like they're just straight up wrong about who improved the most. But they just vote for their favorites. So there are a lot more Thor fans than there are Scientist Supreme fans.
Well, Thor's a much more enjoyable character than Scientist Supreme. So.
Right, and people are also thinking Asgardians. Like they were thinking before there were Asgardians, my Thor was garbage on a garbage Avengers team. They were as low as they could go, and now they're part of the Asgardians, one of the best teams in the game. Yeah. So, team-wise, but as far as like if you just have a Thor out and about on his own, how much better is he? Not terribly better.
Not so good on his own. Not so good on his own.
No, almost everything he got was for his team. But Scientist Supreme went from like an active liability to her own team that was just a danger to have around.
That's funny because that's so accurate how she was before her rework.
She was an actual liability, and she shot all the way to like must have her raid in Dark Dimension. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if year 2, Scientist Supreme takes the cake. I'd say year 1 though, Groot, because Groot was in a pretty bad place when he got released.
Oh, Vision.
Well, yeah, Vision. I was thinking of these nominees, but yes, Vision was much better than Groot. And
Vision was awful when he got released, and
very true. Yeah.
Now he's
how could I forget about him? Because it came very quickly after, like 2 months after he was released or something.
Yeah, they didn't waste too much time. There were a few of them that they changed like shortly after, which was good. They tuned him up a little bit. There's also some that they broke our hearts. They nerfed my Okoye before we ever got the fully realized.
Oh yes, she looked very good on paper before she was released, and then they switched up her kit. Any other surprises with these awards?
I mean, the tease was a surprise, but no, pretty standard, I guess. People voted about how I expected them to, but yeah, just gotta remember there's a lot of casual fans. A lot of people watch this stuff and they're like, oh my god, don't they understand how this team works and this mechanic? But if there's one thing I've learned from doing tons and tons of roster reviews, it's you often run into like, let me ask you a question. Why is your Crossbones 90k? What are you doing with a 90k Crossbones? Like, oh, well, so actually, Rumlow is my favorite character. Yeah, in fact, I have a Crossbones tattoo. In this other game I used to play, Crossbones was my avatar, and it's like, okay, all right, I got it. I don't recommend that, but you know, I mean, do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, it's a game we play
at
for
the
fun.
end of the game. That is, you know, and sometimes it's not getting out the best, most possible meta characters. It's sometimes using your favorite characters, even though they're not as good. So it's whatever makes you happy. All right, so you did mention the tease that we got from the video, the Strike Force Awards video, and this is the tease. Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, Domino, which we knew about, and X-23. All 3 of these characters rumored weeks and weeks ago. Drew the rumor guy doing his job. What are your thoughts on these rumors coming true? I think we talked about this last week, but it was not official at that time.
Yeah, I like all these characters. In particular, of those 3, I like Negasonic Teenage Warhead purely from her portrayal in Deadpool 2, which I've talked with my chat a bit on stream about it. Apparently, she's like a completely different character in the comics, and they basically just made her like an energy blasting character in Deadpool 2, even though she's apparently like a telepath and has like reality warping powers and all sorts of other stuff in the comics.
I think they're gonna go with the Deadpool 2 version in the game.
Right. I think so. I think so as well, and I'm totally fine with that. Domino and X-23 are very true to their comic roots here. But yeah, I like all these characters, and I've always said that Deadpool and Cable are 2 characters that really deserve to get the ladies. So now
they're surrounded by 3.
Right.
All right. Also in this blog post, we got word that Phoenix is returning. New players might be getting, a lot of them getting Phoenix for the first time. Some players getting that 7-star version of Phoenix. Thoughts? Still part of the meta?
Very much so. Yeah, people often make that mistake of like, as soon as a counter's released, like, so is this character dead and useless now? Like, no, there's just one character that very few people have that can be used to counter this character. And in any and all instances where that character isn't immediately present and strong enough to be a challenge, then this character is exactly as strong as they were. So yes, Ebony releasing does slightly reduce Phoenix's stock, but you know, all that means is that there is one good answer to her. I guess kind of 2. Crystal is actually a decent answer to
well, one skill though. It's not a passive, so it's one skill, so
yeah,
it's not like it goes off multiple times.
Right, that's true. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, Ebony is really good, and he definitely counters her. But I still think she's easy top 5 character in the game. Without, yeah, I could say that very confidently. And there's some arguments for her still being number 1. I mean, she's worth 2 full characters, and She just does an insane amount of damage. She has so much dispel. She has the ability to protect people. She just has a very good kit. So yeah.
And more importantly, speaking of the community vote, she won the community vote for top legendary character of the game. So yeah, the community likes her. So farmer, get her, build her up.
Well,
Hero, villain, mystic controllers.
She was definitely the strongest solo legendary before Maw, and that questionnaire went out before Maw had released. So people don't have the respect for Maw that they should yet. They will.
Black Bolt's pretty good too.
Yeah,
I like
Black Bolt's good, but there's like two different classes of legendary characters for me. There's legendary characters that you can just plop them on any team, and now that team is a big deal. Like you could literally just like close your eyes, pick 4 people, you throw Ebony Maw on that team, and now it's like, all right, well, you got to bring something serious to deal with this team because they have an Ebony Maw. You can't just skirt around that. Yeah. Black Bolt is very good, but Black Bolt alone is not like, oh god, how do we deal with this? Black Bolt has transformed their team. Aside from his one unavoidable ability, he can offense down him, he can blind him, he can stun him, he can slow him. Like he's just a damage dealer, so he's not as simple as like, well, I have Black Bolt on the team, so I win.
I get you. I get what you're saying. As far as value on a team, I look at it as value in multiple game modes. And for me, Black Bolt, I'm using him in more game modes than Phoenix. And that's why, at least for me, but both of them are awesome characters. They're not like 1 and 2. To me, they're like 1 and 1A. All right, Blitz, the mode that is so controversial, brings so much love and so, well, maybe not so much love, but it brings so much controversy to this game. Falcon Blitz coming up, and for those that like to push hard on Blitz, getting a little break. What are your thoughts on Falcon? Should newer players still be pushing hard for Falcon at this point? Is he still a very relevant character towards the end game?
So I can't stress this enough. Falcon will probably always be like lurking in the shadows, ready to make a reappearance in any arena meta. There's a few characters that do significant things regarding turn meter, and if you're able to capitalize on some of those turn meter effects at the right times, yeah, it's going to make a crazy difference. So for example, one of the other comps that people are using to punch into Black Order involves Falcon, and it's because they all have so many buffs that if Falcon just gets his first turn, he gives out so much speed. So Falcon is a unique character, and of all the members of Power Armor, Falcon, I think, is the one that makes the most sense. Like Falcon would be very, very good in Dark Dimension 3. I don't think that he's super worth bringing over other characters that can take those mats, but like in the nodes that I'm doing right now, the final global node, I'm cloning a Falcon every single time I can get one. His special is just incredible. It's on such a low cooldown, and it can be used to deliver more than a full turn to everyone on the team in the right PvE instances. So yeah, Falcon is just awesome, and the stronger your Falcon, the more solid your Power Armor, because he does a ton of damage, especially with military and war. So
yeah, I like him as well. I agree with everything you said. So guys, his Blitz is coming up this Thursday. If you don't already have him maxed out at 7 stars, if you don't have him unlocked, this is a Blitz for you guys. Other thing coming up this week, Chaos Theory is returning some silver mats, baby. We're gonna get up to tier 6 this time, right?
Yes.
What are you thinking of this Chaos Theory? How excited are you?
So I am actually like I'm happy that it's coming back for sure. And I realize what I'm about to say. Sometimes I say things. Well, no, it's not going to offend people. But sometimes I say things and the comments are me like, "Oh, Khasino has no idea what it's like for us other players. He's just in his own whale world, blah blah." And just real quick, like all I do all day is talk to other people playing Marvel Strike Force who are not having my experience, and all I'm doing is asking them, you know, what's your collection power? What are you struggling with? What are you? Like I try to do I probably have a better idea what's going on with the average person than most people, because they don't talk to tons of other people. You know, they tend to talk to like maybe their alliance or whatever, but I'm just constantly talking to big players, small players, new players, old players, whatever. But anyway, so I, having just finished DD3, I just got 600 silver promotion credits.
Oh, so this perfect timing for you.
Well, so not only is this like a splash in a bucket, but as you know, I participate in too many whale wars. So
no, that's not possible. I mean, I would say, if anything, you're participating in too few whale wars.
Yeah, you can look at it however you want. Look, I'll be doing more. But so I am currently sitting on like 200, almost 300 right now. And like I'm not saving them for anything. If I saw something in the shop where I was like, oh, you know, that'd be really good to take to 5, I would just get it. But every day I check multiple times. I'm looking and I'm like,
who are you looking for? Who are you looking for?
That's it. I'm actually not looking for like
nothing specific, just something that catches your eye.
There's some characters where I'm like, you know, I mean, I kind of want, like the other day I saw like Sue in there and I'm like, I mean, Sue's a top tier character, but the difference between 4 red and 5 red Sue is not that big a deal. I've been keeping an eye out, but the silver credits are only good going up to 5. And I have my entire roster at 4, except for Ironheart, who's stuck at 3. But hopefully I can get some more red stars on her. We'll see. But yeah, so, you know, like half of my characters are already 5 or higher. And the other half, you know, there's a few where I'm like, yeah, I should probably take them up, but it's not, you know. So, and I'm fully aware everything I'm saying.
First world problems, dude. Come on, jeez. I wish I had those problems in the game.
Look, I'm not complaining, and I'm well aware that no one else has this experience, really. But
I gotta wail harder. I want those problems.
Well, you trade those problems for actual financial problems.
All right, Riri is in the game. I remember the rumors that we heard about her so long ago, all these months ago, but she is finally in the game. Now we're gonna get to the bugs in just a little bit, but bugs withstanding, what do you think of this character? How much value does she add to that power armor team over Vision? I mean, obviously yours is a lot higher powered than mine is.
Well, so real quick, I just want to shout out. So we sometimes come up with some really good hints to drop for rumored characters, and I was so proud of that one in particular when we crafted the like forward, just trying to stick it in there, and I thought like there's a very good chance no one will notice this, and there were like 10 people in the comments who were like, you said Riri, Ironheart confirmed, and I was like, damn, some serious sleuths in the chat. Shout out to them. But so on Ironheart, she's pretty good. She's not that big of a deal. So unlike Vision, she is a lot like, she's more like Rescue. Mainly only good on power armor. Not terrible. Like her ultimate is still, you know, 2-turn defense down to a bunch of people. It's kind of nice, but that's it. It's not that crazy. You know, it's easier to like set up a hella combo for that, or Symbiote Spider-Man basic chain and hit the, you know, over 2 turns you can coat the whole team. Yeah. But so yeah, she's mainly gonna be on power armor. She's not terribly good outside of it. She's certainly not bad. She's got good stats and stuff. She has ability block. She has turn me to rewind. Like I think she's probably I think we ranked her demigod. She's either elite or demigod, but yeah, she's right around in that range. But yeah, she's mainly going to be in power armor, and power armor is mainly going to be war offense. You're not really using power armor for that much besides war offense. So a lot of people have been asking me, like, should I buy Ironheart? And well, you're going to get what you pay for. Like your power armor team is going to get better, and power armor is already a good team. So when it comes to war, having the new and improved power armor, like they're awesome. They're gonna make quick work of most teams. The question is, how important is a team that's primarily just for war attacks? Like that's it. They're just the one war attack, right? It's not as beneficial as a raid team. It's not as beneficial as an arena team. It doesn't, like, they don't also allow you to get a legendary or
it's
unlock.
Not like she's a versatile character either that goes outside of that power armor team as well. Right. As other of these newer characters. So. Right,
exactly. So yeah, so I've been, you know, telling people, like, this is not, if you skipped out on buying Ironheart, it's not gonna be like, oh man, you're way behind. Everyone's leaving you in the dust now. Like, you screwed up. It's you know, but for war, yeah, she will immediately turn your existing power armor, assuming that they're, you know, even kind of powered up. She'll make them a serious threat. But
I do have one question to ask you, because I'm wondering to myself, Vision, let's say you got a 50,000 Vision. I don't remember what mine is, but how big does your Ironheart have to be to replace, you know, whatever power vision is? You know, what, 10% less, 20% less? I mean, at what point do you think that it becomes that she's not as much a liability because of the less power, because she has a better, slightly better kit than Vision, particularly for that power armor team?
I don't know if I've put it into a percentage, but I've had people asking, and so like the common answer I've been seeing is like if you have like a 60k Vision, you're fine with like a 30k Ironheart. Okay. So here's what you have to remember. Firstly, her passive immediately kicks in. They're getting more health, they're getting more armor. The team is safer with her just present. And then her big thing that she does is the defense downs. Like landing those ability blocks are nice, and for matchups that you need an ability block or it's going to be, you know, not so smooth sailing, her focus needs to be good enough that you'll land that ability block, but you're also getting the speed bar rewind, which is nice. Yeah. And then in war, she has the focus for the defense down anyway. And as far as her damage, even when she's doing less damage than Vision, she is power armor, so rescue will give her offense up for 2 turns. So her damage is going to be fine too. So she makes them safer, and her damage, even if she's weaker than Vision, will be fine because it's compensated for offense up. So really, it's just for matchups where you need that ability block, make sure her focus is good enough that you'll get the ability block. Otherwise though, yeah, she's pretty much just gonna be better than Vision if she's, you know, again, if you're using like a 12k Ironheart in place of your 70k Vision, don't do that. But, you know, there's not an exact amount, but once, you know, I think once you get her to level 70-ish, and again, it depends on what you're facing in war, but because she's a newer character with fewer gold and red stars on average for most people, if you can, it's worth it to give her the extra levels all the way up to 75 if possible. I know gold is tight, but up to 75 possible will really help with her focus for landing those ability blocks. But there's a lot of matchups where the ability blocks don't matter that much because, you know, with Vision, like against the defenders, you want to try to ability block Luke Cage so he's not defense upping everyone. Yeah. But you don't have to worry about that. Like, even if she, in that same matchup, she tries it and she fails the ability block and he does defense up everyone, it doesn't matter because she's still going to defense down everyone. Yeah. So it's as if they don't have that defense up anyway. And then Falcon is going to get the extra attack for the extra buff that they have. So it, you know, it's not as big of a deal.
Ends up working slightly better.
Yep. And again, defense down without them having defense up just makes it a massacre.
All right, but the major thing that people wanted Ironheart for and were excited about Ironheart for was the counter to Hydra on war defense, one of the toughest war defense team, and she did that because she was able to apply offense or defense down to Red Skull when she gains her 100,000% extra focus for this attack. But apparently there's a bug. She does not get 100,000% extra focus for this attack. She gets 100,000 extra focus for this attack. And that may not sound big, 100,000 extra, 100,000% extra. It's pretty big. Explain why this is an issue for countering Hydra.
Well, the main reason is if we're just looking at the math, Red Skull, assuming both characters are maxed out, Red Skull will have like 900,000 resistance. So 100,000 plus whatever the base focus is. So it's like, you know, 113,000 or something like that. Yeah. Doesn't matter at all to 939,000 resistance or whatever it is. Those ballpark numbers, but they're not too far off. But it needs to be the 100,000% and not the flat 100,000. But so a couple things. I don't know if you heard, but Zeke's commented on Reddit. This is being fixed.
Yeah, we'll talk about the fixes coming up in just a little bit. What they're gonna do with this, because I was waiting because how they decided to fix this is big. Whether they corrected the text or made it do what the text says. So we'll be talking about that.
Yes. Well, I think their hands are kind of tied because they could get in trouble for the false advertising. You got to make the character do what you said it was going to do. But they're incredibly inconsistent with this. Like this is not the first instance of this. It just hasn't been a big deal before now because it hasn't been a make or break for matchups. But just so you know, there's a bunch of characters just off the top of my head. Phoenix has a plus, I forget if it's 50,000 or 100,000% focus. on her ability description, but she just gains the flat, whether it's 50k or 100k, I don't remember. JJ, same thing. I think it's her ultimate. It says she gains 100,000%, and she just gains 100k. But yeah, so they're very inconsistent, both with resistance and with focus. They'll write flat and it'll be a percent, or they'll write percent and it'll be flat. Yeah, they're incredibly sloppy with this.
I love the consistency.
I mean, I've been trying to make this a big deal for a little while, and again, because it hasn't really impacted anything, it's been like, it's not a big deal, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm glad it's finally getting the attention it deserves. And like I said, I sent Cerebro like a chapter book on exactly what's wrong and where and how to fix it. Oh, nice. Yeah, I hope they're on it.
And speaking of bugs, this is a Reddit post, a lot of upvotes. Foxnext's biggest blunder, players, and this plural of this players might be in question right now. Getting free 7-star raid characters, a lot of shards given out, and the result was this screenshot right here. It caused a little bit of an uproar, but Cerebro's response: we've confirmed this only happened to one player and was a mistake of a single person. As of right now, I have not seen any other screenshots, any other reports of any players getting extra shards. What are you hearing about this? Is this pretty limited to just this single player?
Yeah, I don't doubt it. So the first thing is, like, very few people had been hoarding their, I think these were the alpha orbs. Very few people have been hoarding alpha orbs anyway, to even be in the position to miss out on them. And then the people who did miss out on them, not all of them even knew to contact support. So it's got to be a small handful of players that actually were in the camp to even be getting the compensation from support for their disappeared hoarded alpha orbs.
Yeah.
And then it seems like just, one person in support gave way too many shards, which, support are human beings. And, when you put a magnifying glass on an issue like this, like it's good that, it's getting corrected. You don't want people getting an unfair advantage, but yeah, support, there's a lot of people constantly writing in support stuff. It's not always super consistent, and yeah, there's typos and stuff. It's not the first time in this game's history we've seen support accidentally give out way too much of something that they weren't supposed to, but yeah, it's good that it's getting corrected. So
unjustified major outrage at this error in your opinion?
Yeah, not, boy, is it good for my image to be like, oh, shut up, Reddit, you're all overreacting. But yeah, I mean, well, so to be fair, I don't know if the devs would have been made aware and would have corrected it. If it hadn't gotten this big, that might have slipped under the radar. I don't know. So I guess it's good that the thread exists. But yeah, just one person got way too much.
Yeah. D-Ball put together a list of cumulative bugs, and this list just keeps growing and growing and growing. This just keeps getting edited. Mentions a lot of stuff here that has not been addressed yet. Claiming Energy, Taskmaster, Black Bolt, Ironheart, Black Order, Ghost Rider has some glitches, Ebony Maw, I mean, the list just keeps going on. Blitz botting, it's still not been officially addressed, even though we talked about it at length in last week's news video. Verse mode, Symbiote Spider-Man milestones ending early, Thanos is empowered, which did get addressed recently, so we're going to talk about that right after this. But there's a lot of things on here. I know you haven't read the whole thing, but is there one bug, whether it's on this list, not on this list, that really stands out to you that you really think should have the top prioritization of Foxnext?
Well, so again, I'm not familiar with the entire list. In general, I think a couple of the biggest things that need to be addressed are like Blitz and Arena. There's some loopholes in Arena that allow people to get an unfair advantage. And then as far as Blitz, Blitz as a game mode is becoming more and more unfair for newer players. So not just the Blitz botting, which I hope they address, but I hope they really just revamp Blitz altogether. So I think that I would be giving majority of my attention to if I were in charge of the game. But really, I have a bit of a crazy answer. Rather than like which of these bugs is the most important, I think the most important thing is preventing bugs. Like
like that mysterious QA department we were talking about last week, right?
Yes, and now
strange to be in companies.
Now let me say, before I say what I'm about to say, they are unquestionably doing an incredibly sloppy job. I know I get harassed plenty for, of course, he's defending Foxnex, blah blah blah. Forgetting that, like there are a bunch of bugs. They're doing a crap job.
I'm very curious where you're going with this.
Well, just to throw them a bone and say that it's not all doom and gloom, and they're not just a bunch of incompetent monkeys trying to build a game. Firstly, they have relied previously on a lot of external QA, and because of COVID, I know that they have had less access to external QA. So this is, they're trying to keep the game and the entertainment going, and they just don't have as much QA going on as they did. I know they are currently hiring for I think it's a senior QA, something like that, but they're hiring for like a top QA position. So that's, I don't know what that'll amount to, but if you think you could help clean up the game, go help. I told a couple of my alliance mates to apply. I'm like, please go help fix the game. But yes, they're hiring for some high up like senior QA tester position. And then last and certainly not least is, again, there are plenty of bugs, and this isn't like, oh, people are overreacting. No, there's tons of bugs. They need to get on it. They need to fix it. It's just that simple. But some of the stuff on here, like look at number 9. Ebony Maw 7-star unlock battle is hard and frustrating to players.
That's not a bug. Not all of these are bugs. Not all of these are bugs.
It's hard. It's hard and frustrating. Okay.
There's some, most of these are real bugs, but not 100% of this list is real bugs.
Yeah, and some of the other stuff, like the Symbiote Spider-Man, the email went out on the wrong day telling people the milestones were going to end on the wrong day. I'm like, that is a screw up, and they shouldn't do that. And it did cause confusion. And yeah, that should never have happened, and they screwed up. But okay, they sent an email out on the wrong day. Okay, that's not a bug. That's if someone screwed up. All right, you're right. It shouldn't happen. But yes. There's plenty of stuff to fix. But
fix your QA department.
Yes.
Fix your QA department. Fix the whole department.
Yes.
So not only fix this, but stop future ones from happening also.
Yes, but the craziest part, the one that drives me so insane, is we will ask all sorts of questions. They'll announce a new character, and as the envoys, we'll always ask a bunch of questions. Like when they announce, like, here's Black Bolt and his new passive, we were immediately like, hey, just a question. Is this going to go through death proof, or is this going to proc before this, but after this? Like, what about in response to someone getting counterattack? Like we just had a bunch of questions, and they usually, they don't answer that many of them. And then
25% solid.
Yeah, something like that. And then you'll notice that, like, hidden in a bunch of the stuff that we had asked was like, oh, we already were worried that this might lead to an issue. That's why we were asking. We didn't get an answer, and then it launched, and it's like, well, this is a big hot mess. So, like, how old is Black Bolt now? And health steal and health redistribution abilities don't proc as passive. Death proof won't proc as passive if a death proof is consumed. Like, there's just a bunch of weird stuff that just the envoys could have prevented. And I will continue to say, like, I would rather they just have a proper QA department. But even if they just want to let the envoys be the QA department, I'm sure some of them, like at least me, I would
kind of done a lot of that. They just haven't listened to all the suggestions. So as long as they're going to listen to the suggestions and make some changes, then yes.
Right, but not even suggestions. Just like, hey, you guys have a week to play around with Black Bolt before he goes live. You know how many things I could have immediately, in 1 week, I could be like, all right, death proof obviously not working. It's not working with health steal. What's going on here? Like, so many of these things, I don't understand how they don't get found. It's mind-blowing to me. So yeah, in short, fix the QA department.
All right, well, not all of the bugs are being unaddressed. We have just before we started recording this, Zeeks came out with this Thanos passive empowered, not working correctly right now. Looks like that will be corrected up in the next update. Ironheart's ultimate Heartbreaker, which we talked about, it's getting the flat amount of or it's getting the percentage increase, which is supposed to do, which is important for the war offense versus the Hydra defense team. So that is too important. They're not going to be fixed right now. The next update, Ebony Maw's Force Transfusion, it looks like it is corrected right now. So that is it. Any thoughts on these? The Empowered Thanos. The Black Order is really good. Looks like they're going to get even better with this Thanos, this passive working correctly. Jeez.
They're already incredible, and yes, it's going to make them a lot scarier. A lot scarier. And what's crazy is this is one of the things that I asked about. I looked in the JSON originally because people had asked me, is this going to proc once or is this going to proc each time? And it was very unclear from the JSON. And I was saying, well, it's a very big difference. If it procs each time, it's crazy strong. If it just procs the one, it's not that strong. And yeah, like this is directly one of the things that I asked about. Like, hey, before they release, how does this work? We're wondering, so we can, try to plan around this team. And if they would have just looked at that question, they would have looked right at it and gone, oh, actually, it works like this, but it's supposed to be working like this. Let's fix it before it ships. So
crazy kind of concept, fixing stuff before it ships instead of breaking it and fixing it later.
Yep, but the Ironheart one is good, and then and the last part about like Maw just letting us know that his ult is already fixed is good too.
So Ironheart one is important. I think a lot of people will be upset and kind of like you said, false advertising if they didn't fix it that way and if they just changed the text like they've done with some previous passive that weren't working. So I'm glad they're handling the Ironheart situation this way. All right, update coming soon. 3 new playable characters. I think we could guess who they are, right?
Yeah, the 3 X-Force members.
All right, I'm gonna come back to this one. Updated Deadpool and Cable abilities. We knew they're getting a rework. New advanced option, interesting, but this is the big one right here. New verse battle mode. What do you suppose that is? There's so many suggestions tossed around. Where's your mind taking you with this one right now?
I don't know. I don't know what new verse battle mode they're going with. I think the one that's been the most requested has been like a power balanced one, but it could just as easily be a blind pick. Like blind pick would be very easy to do. Blind pick, you just allow duplicates and you don't know what the enemy's picking. You just pick what you want to pick and that's it. It's less, it takes a lot of the strategy out of the pick ban, and you might load into a match you can't win, but
I like the all things being equal better than that other one.
Those are just the first 2 that come to my mind as like the easy ones to implement, but yeah, I don't know. Or or they could just do like a just like
one that breaks the game.
Just like a no bans, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be interesting too. Yeah. Cable Deadpool abilities. Any predictions for that, or just waiting for the kits?
Yeah, I have no idea what the changes to Deadpool and Cable are going to look like, but I'm excited because they're already decent characters. They've suffered from not having a team, not from being bad characters per se.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. New campaign event. It looks like that is the campaign event for our girl Domino.
Looking forward to that as well.
All right, and it is my favorite time of the news videos, the rumor section, where we can speculate about all things coming to Marvel Strike Force. And this week, we have heard from Drew, the rumor guy, gave us some cryptic rumors. And the rumor that he said on this channel was he's heard the name Gambit, he's heard the word legendary, not heard of them together. So I guess if there's a legendary coming, Gambit is not the legendary. What is your reaction to this?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how much we can trust this Drew guy.
Really?
I don't like him. I don't know.
Really? He is a drinker. He's mentioned drinking a lot. I mean, does that give him some points in your book?
I don't know. Not everyone drinks super trustworthy per se.
All right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Not a legendary. What have you been hearing anything on your end?
Yeah. So another prominent Marvel Strike Force YouTuber may have answered a yes/no question about rumored upcoming legendary, and they had said that they had heard the rumored upcoming legendary was a human.
Ooh.
So
okay, so the legendary is not Gambit, and it is a human. So we'll see what happens with that. If there is a legendary coming, leave your predictions in the comments, guys.
Yep, certainly. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of buzz around upcoming legendary characters and stuff. I've been asked a lot about upcoming legendaries, about upcoming game modes and features. I saw 8 different theories for like who the legendary would be and what you would need to unlock them just today in my stream chat. So
man, I'm getting a lot too. I'm getting a lot in my mailbag video. I'm getting a lot in the comment section. You guys are leaving comments. That's awesome. But I'm glad it's not just isolated to my chat, and it's everybody's giving predictions on this. So it's good stuff there, brother. All right, brother. Well, it has been fun as usual. Yes, lots of news items this week. Before you go, though, let everybody know where they could find you and if you have anything coming up.
I can be found on youtube.com/Khasino, discord.gg/Khasino, twitch.tv/Khasino. I'm around, and doing my timed run of Dark Dimension 3, and I'm probably going to host another PvP tournament that'll be free to enter with a prize pool. I'm thinking this Saturday. So,
cool.
Yeah, if you're on the Discord, keep an eye on the announcements channel. But yeah, probably going to do another PvP tournament. So yeah, the matches will be streamed, and can win some free prizes. So.
Sweet. Well, I look forward to those. It's always fun being on those, and thank you for having me on the last time we did those, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're listening on the podcast version, hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, leave a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and if you like this video, obviously subscribe, smash that like button, join the notification squad. At least 4 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. I will see you guys next time. Khasino, I will see you next time as well, brother. Hopefully this weekend for your PvP tournament. Give me a Hulk fist bump before you go. ValleyFlyin out.